Day, Charmin and Blair. I'm going to go with Victor. What does the word victor or victory mean to you, Rachel? I'm going to go in that order. If Rachel is on, and Bianca and Lou, if you can just give me an insight of what comes to you when we speak of the word victor or victory, and what will be your message?
All right. Okay. Hi everyone. It's great to be here to just have these discussions with so many like-minded women. I want to say thank you for this opportunity. Um, what I think victor or victory is that, you know, when you're faced with a victor, for example, is somebody that is able to overcome an obstacle, to overcome a challenge, or somebody that was in a battlefield, for example, and is able to overcome that battle. So I feel that is what victor means. Victory means being able to overcome a challenge or any obstacle that you're faced with. So pretty much that.
Overcome a challenge that you're faced with. And I think as women, we have those curveballs. We have so much that is thrown at us, but our ability to overcome. I love that. I love that special message. And my next sister, let's keep sharing the mic. We've got 4 more minutes. Let's keep sharing that mic. Lou, are you ready to chime in to let us know what victor means to you?
Okay. From me, Victor. Victor means to me a person who has risen above, a person who's ready to move on, to soar, to fly, to overcome, to continue being a shining light in the dark. That's what Victor means to me.
You continue to soar
Yeah.
and be a shining light. I
Yeah.
love that. I love that. When you are a victor,
Yeah.
you continue to soar. You're able to overcome. Let's look at that. We keep getting that word repeated again. Overcome.
Overcome.
Overcome. Wow. This is offsetting and preparing us for yet another exciting moment, session, one that will be rich, one that will just bring us closer to home, but mostly one that will inspire and ignite that hope and that light in one woman, one girl listening out there across the globe. So take it away. Take it away. We know we have to overcome. We know we have to rise above the storms, and we will soar like eagles and bloom the hope. So take it away.
Yes.
From Rachel, or was it Rachel first or Bianca? Bianca Murishani, how are you?
Tulifia, we know. How are you?
I am fine. I'll say Tulufia Bueno, right? I had to learn
Yes.
this, so I
Yes,
did
it's,
good.
yes, it's
Tulufia
Tulifia
Bueno.
Bueno. Yes.
There you go. All right, take it away, my sister. Take it away.
So I believe when I think of the word victim, I believe it's when one victim is able to rise from the challenges he or she has been facing in life. When they rise and overcome these challenges, then a person becomes a victor. Like, yeah. So women, I believe even what we're doing here, women are able to rise and become victors of the abuse, harassment in workplaces, marriages, and homes. Yeah.
I love that. Women, we are able to rise above all the challenges that are thrown at us, whether it is in marriage, whether it's harassment at work, in places, we are able to rise above. Wow. Asha, welcome, welcome. I am going to pass the mic to you because this morning we want you to share with the rest of the world that's tuning in and listening what the word victor means to you, or victory.
Ashaka, that question was for you.
Oh, oh, okay. Hi, everybody. All right. Can you repeat? The question was, what do I think the word victor means? What does it mean to me?
Yes.
Okay, so, okay, Miss Maria. So for me, a victor is someone that can accept both a win and a loss in stride with equal breadth. It's just so funny that you asked that, because I just came off my phone with my brother before I joined this meeting, and that's exactly what he said. He was like, Ashaka, there's going to be wins and there's going to be losses, but we have to learn to take them both in stride. So a victor doesn't become overwhelmed or isn't overcome by a loss, because she knows she's going to win again.
Because she knows she's going to win again.
Yes, ma'am.
I love that. So in each of you, you are winners.
Yes,
Every woman out there, every girl out there, you are born a winner. You can overcome. You will rise above the call. You will rise and soar like an eagle. No matter what life throws at you, you will continue to rise. So I will let Charmaine close this for me, and then we will just give a few minutes, and then we will get into the order of what today has in store. I'm excited. Africa being represented, my African sisters, Womandla, we are together. So I am in awe right now. So African women, African girls, the drum beat is beating right now. All the other sisters, join us as we take you to Zambia, South, and then part of Africa. So join us on this journey. So Shaman, take it away.
Wow, do you want me to add to mess it up? I don't think so. I really think that for the short time we had this discussion, so many nuggets came out of it. And we want to thank Ashaka, Bianca, Rachel, Lou for being a part of the virtual coffee. Thank you. And thank you for sharing what victor means to you. And if we can recap, it meant something different to each person. No two persons said the same thing. So thank you guys. And that was our coffee hour. I am excited. Now, if you're here for the first time, welcome. But you missed 3/4 of your meal. Today is day 11. And we have already served 10 courses of a 16-course meal. So you're on the 11th course, and I am positive that you will be filled. but check our Facebook pages for the last 10 courses so that you can partake of it. Okay, that's my encouragement. And I am excited today to see. You muted me.
Sorry. Me, I'm responsible. I was trying to let someone in and I touched the wrong button. That's why I say don't let me touch buttons. Go ahead, Charmin. I'm sorry, my baby. Sorry.
So today, because during the last 10 days, we took a trip, global trip. And today we're going on the continent of Africa. In Zimbabwe, we have our sisters from Zimbabwe, and they are going to show us the route from victim to victor as we continue. Oh, it's not Zimbabwe, Zambia. Forgive me. Oh, I don't want to keep making mistakes like that, Zambia. How can I do that?
We are all the same. We are all the same, right? My sisters, we are all the same. Zambia and Zimbabwe, we are just like Canada and the US. When you have your Niagara Falls, we show off with our Vic Falls. So we forgive Charmaine, right? No worry. We're the same people. We come from the South. We're representing. There's no Zambian, there's no Zimbabwe. We are one. Go ahead, Charmaine.
Okay, thank you. And thank you for forgiving me, my Zambian sisters. We are anticipating how you're gonna take us on that journey. And we wanna thank you for joining us. And I am going to hand it over to Blair. Blair, the mic is yours.
Thank you, Charmin. Thank you, Maria. Thank you, ladies from Zambia. So great to see you. I see Malia coming in. Welcome. Rachel Mumba. Welcome. Rachel is in South Africa today. I believe she's on business. Welcome. Bianca, I misspelled your name. There should be an A on the end of your name. Charmin is going to correct that for me. Welcome. Bianca is our Zambian chair. Hashaka, welcome. Janelle, welcome. Candy, welcome. Loretta, welcome. Malia, welcome. I'm getting feedback, which means mics are open. So if we could close our mics, if we are not speaking, that will help to alleviate a lot of the feedbacks. If you have a second device on, some of you might have your cell phone on, please turn the volume off on that so we don't, you know what I'm talking about, Rachel, you're in broadcasting, you don't get that feedback. So we're excited for today, and I really want to thank the ladies of Zambia for actually answering the call, the one call to them, we have this opportunity, can you guys be a part of it? They said yes without hesitancy. So thank you so much. It is Saturday and you're giving up a Saturday for us, and we appreciate that. Now, just the order of the day, our Zambian team will be doing things a little bit different, Ali. I'm going to introduce our chair, Bianca Piri, and she will take us to the discussion that was taped. It was live to tape by Rachel Mumba. And she will introduce Rachel. Rachel will take it away, introduce the panelists. And then Maria will be playing you the first half of the tape. And after that, we will have some questions and answers if you have any questions, both from Facebook and also from Zoom. We will answer those questions. We will play the second half of the tape. It is a 38-minute recording. And then we'll have some discussions around from victor to victim, getting past victimhood. So let me welcome to you to the day and to Zoom, to our 16 days of activism against gender-based violence, the women of Zambia. Our chair is here with us, Bianca Piri. Bianca is a mother of two, a single mother of two. She is a career woman who has worked for over 15 years in the hospitality and marketing industry. Bianca is currently pursuing a degree in leadership in ministry. She received her education at the University of Zambia and other recognized colleges. Bianca oversees institutions that offer financial fitness to women and a home for the street kids as well as the vulnerable in society. This is because she believes that a community whose women are not marginalized has a better quality of life. A God-fearing woman whose life is totally dependent on prayer because she found her freedom and love in Christ. Help me celebrate and welcome the women of Zambia, Women in Bloom Zambia, chaired by Bianca Piri. Go ahead, Bianca, unmute and take it from there.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, women. Firstly, I would like to apologize for how we did it. We here in Zambia, we're having so much challenges with electricity issues. There's so much load shedding, so we had to record our session, fear that maybe today we might not have electricity. Yeah, so Rachel will be able to play what we discussed yesterday with our brother and other women who joined us. Yes, yeah. We're a group of women here in Zambia who believe in uplifting each other as we rise up as women. Like my sister Blair has said, I am currently working with the underprivileged and also helping women in fitness, because I believe that when a woman is fit, she's able to do so many things. Yeah. So without taking much of your time, I hand it over to Rachel.
Hello, everyone. Once again, I'm so glad to be here today. As Bianca explained, that we did a pre-recording yesterday for various reasons. One of them is that she mentioned we have hiccups with the internet, and that our panelists are from different places, and also we just wanted to just get things done prior to today. But without further ado, I would like to just introduce to you our panelists. Yesterday we had on the panel, we were privileged to have a gentleman on the panel. His name is Hemis Maunda. Hemis Maunda is an activist. He's a gender activist. He's a man, but very passionate about children. He's very passionate about the rights of women and children. He works for an institution called Media Network on Child Rights. So he's an advocate. He champions children and women's rights, and because he also has a broadcasting background, and so he's using that as an opportunity just to speak out on some of the ills that happen to women and children. And another person that we had on the panel yesterday is Exilda Chinyama. She is now a victor because she managed to overcome the abuse that she was experiencing as she was married. She was married for 10 years, and she was abused by her husband for 9 of those years. And when she said enough was enough, she decided to move on, and now she is doing her own work. She's a metal fabricator, something that is very rare amongst women in Zambia, particularly because that is dubbed as a man's job. And then we have Mulia. She's also part of this meeting right now. Mulia is a nurse, and she is a mother, but she's very passionate also about women's rights, and also because she came from a background where her father used to abuse her mother. So that's pretty much what we have today.
Thank you, my Zambian sisters. Today you hear me use the possessive my. It's like, why do I say my? Because you're closer to home. So I welcome you, and I always believe that it's always makes it more sweeter and special when I greet you in the mother tongue. So I will say Mulishani Maisani, and basically to others, all I said was, well, hello and welcome, because what you have done as you take us into the journey, as we will share this journey from the lenses of Zambia. Our hope is and will remain that no voice will be left unheard. So thank you for allowing us to share with you the voices, and thank you through the voices where we will see and accept the vulnerability. And thank you for trusting us in this safe space. So thank you. And once again, welcome. And that goes for the rest of the phenomenal women and girls and gentlemen and boys tuning in. We at Eagles Bloom Hope and the rest of the organizations that answer to the call will welcome you once again to day 11, where we will take you on a journey with our Zambian sisters and gentlemen or brothers from the lenses of the Zambian voices and the Zambian eyes as we discuss victim to victor. Thank you. So I will go ahead and share with you, and please sit back and listen in and intently. Then once we play half of it, we will welcome questions and we'll be able to also discuss as our Zambian sisters are also with us. So feel free to pose questions to our Zambian sisters. They are with us in present.
No sound.
Maria, maybe we can start the video again. We have no sound. We can't hear it.
Okay, sorry, because I was muted, I guess. Okay, hold on. I apologize. What is going on here?
Maria, stop sharing, reshare the video.
Okay, just give me a second. Okay.
We understand this is the day and age that we're in.
I'm just gonna come out of that. For some reason it's... Okay, I'm just gonna stop that and come back in. Just bear with me. Just acknowledge if you can hear it, okay?
No.
I'm gonna start playing it.
Okay.
Joined by Mr. Hemis Maunda,
Yes.
Miss Bianca Piri, Miss Muliakani, and I'll be joined shortly by Naomi Lunat, and possibly we can get Exilda, who is a survivor of gender-based violence. But we'll just quickly go in and start this discussion. Hemis, what do you think are some of the reasons why women, or rather men, tend to abuse women?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think it's culture. Yeah, the culture is the main thing. And you know, sometimes I'm very reluctant to say culture because the culture we have is good, except we have a few things that we are taking advantage of, which are wrong in there, which we should get it. So it's just some aspects of culture that we put a clear, you know, context of what our culture demands. And I think I stressed to mention that we need to start questioning why certain things were created that way and were designed that way until we get to that level where we can question what we call culture, defending that. So it's quite important that we know the aspects that culture was designed to allow that is why in our culture I interact with stories about FGM, you will not be happy, and you will notice that that's what we call African culture, that the essence is wrong. So there are a few things that we need to, but the education that we have, our education is designed that way. So it's the fact we have relate education. So you are told that what they are. That is why there is a serious misconception around the cut-off point, for instance, for girls and boys. Others up to now still believe that the cut-off point for girls home and they have extra work to do, and boys who playing or system decided we will have a lower cut of children. Why do you think women have a lower cut of points? Okay. Because girls are down, and you see how it try and alter that in such a way that we are able to change the mindset of children. So that's number two. Our education system still does not try to address this issue quite serious. So those are the major major thing. Number two, it's the wrong messaging that we have around the social construct. Sometimes in this part of the world, we like to accuse religion, right? And we will claim that, you know, the religion is what is causing all of this, but it's not as it is. And I refer to scriptures. They are like scriptures that talk about husband. It talks about, you know, wives submitting to husbands, but we generalize that to women submitting to men. So those are things that I feel contribute. We need to deal with our aspect of religion because it's being wrongly explained. Even the issue that we refer to, the issue to deal with, you know, women being weaker vessels, and I was just explaining that the Bible there talks about a husband. That illustration, because we know generally that you will give it extra care and you will give it order. If you are going to load things on a plane, if you are going to load things on a plane that are fragile, you will expect that they will have their own compartment, they will have extra things to guide them. That was the context that Peter wrote that scripture, that if you are a husband, you are going to love your wife, and in loving your wife, show honor as you would show to a weaker vessel. Not implying that in patient to demonstrate how you love your wife. So we need to explain our religion very well. I like what one of my friends taught me, you know, she said, is actually peer pressure from doing those things. We will just be doing things like that. So that's what I feel those are the causes that bring about cheating.
All right. So you may be well aware that our society places so much power on men, and to a larger extent, as you've rightly put it, even in our educational system, men's cutoff point is mostly higher than the girls. So in essence, you would think that the girl child is duller than the boy child, and then they'll tell you that certain subjects like mathematics and sciences are only meant for the boy child, and the girl child is for these other subjects. And so our society has also sort of like placed our men and our boy children in a superior position, if I may put it that way. And that is to a larger extent the reason why a lot of these men have decided to start abusing women, because they feel more superior and more powerful to these women. And so do you think that it is time for society to begin to sort of rewire these men into thinking that, or into rather believing that this power that has been placed on them as men is not meant to abuse the women, but it is meant to protect them and to just, you know, as we have been rightly saying, they are weaker vessels. So do you agree that it's about time that there was some sort of rewiring or mindset change, especially with the men folk, with regards to how they treat women, particularly for the fact that they are weaker vessels?
Sorry, I had a call. Yeah, but I think I'm back. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear me. I can really hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, so I agree that we need to change society and we should be very holistic. We need to start teaching people. You know, the only way we gave power to men is because we sent them to school, we gave them businesses to run, we gave them inheritance. So those are things that gave them power. Why you have a lot of men today in politics It's because politics is distorted. It's not about leadership anymore. It's about who has money. And if that's a determinant, you will now start to investigate who went to school more than the other, who got, the inheritance. Ask your parents what they wrote in the will. If you had your brothers, you will know that the will had to remain in your brother's name, because they were scared that once you get married, you will, hand over your inheritance. So you see that men generally have been empowered enough. What do we need to do to rewire? Number one, send a lot of women to school, send a lot of girls to school. Let women know that they're not, they are not second-class citizens, and they shouldn't do it to prove to men that we can also do it, but they should do it because men don't go to school to prove to women that they can go to school. Men go to school to obtain the power that we are talking about today. And that's what women should begin to do. I spoke about wrong messaging. Wrong messaging is the one that's telling women, go to school so you can be like a man, and so once people go to school and they funny people. I was in Western Province two or 3 weeks ago, and there's this lady who claims that she's, a Pan-Africanist who has a fake accent. And I was laughing because you have a fake accent and you are telling people that you are Pan-African. You will see that the balance will be the same. And we will stop talking about to put power on women by giving action. It's because it generates to receive opportunities and power. And that's what we need. Once we get that done, then we will start talking about different things. It will not be gender anymore. You will not celebrate that Joe Biden has appointed a full team of females to run his communication, right? But you will know that it's a normal thing to do. So basically, that's how we need to address that issue, in my view.
All right, thank you so much, Hemis. I think that is very, very, very important. And from a man's point of view, do you think there has been enough awareness raised in the men on the need to protect the women folk?
No, I don't think so. I don't see any of it. I see reports, but I don't see awareness to change men. I would see reports that show how bad men are and how bad women have been abused, but I will not see mindset messaging. Change in the thinking process, and that's what you want. That's what you need. We've reported GBV, but the only report is just depicting women as victims and proving how women are victims, which is true. Yes. How do we change this? So there hasn't been, in my view, there hasn't been sensitization. There's been alerts, but teaching. That is why today it's more of fighting than anything else. In my view, we fight a lot, and we don't want to change. I've been attacked a few days myself by women who feel we are exaggerating the idea around championing women's rights. When I post things, they are saying, no, this, and it's women. So 4 or 5 of them have come to me and said, no, and they'll be, because the only way I know that they know it is wrong is how they come in my secret inbox. Then I know they know they're doing what is wrong. So we need messages that will change society.
Yes.
I do work, like I told you, I do work in the child rights sector. So you will have a report, 3,000 children have been, abused. If we go to the courts of law, you don't find cases there. You don't find court cases equivalent to the 3,000. The question is, are we ending at reports? When we portray children and women as victims, so what? So we need to start teaching people beyond reports and alerts. Let's develop messages that will change generation. Messages love. Show young boys how they need to love women. Show good stories on your TV, on your radio messages. Show them. Do school clubs that pretty much teaches love between man and woman. And you will see the society then starting to change without even attacking the subject of GBV. People will respect each other, and that's what we need. So in my view, we haven't done much in terms of sensitization.
All right, thank you so much, Hemis. I like the fact that you've actually gone back to dealing with how it is happening on the ground. I know that there's so many people that have talked about gender-based violence, have talked about how widespread it's become, but then very few people have actually gone ahead to prosecute even the perpetrators. For example, if the perpetrator of the violent act is maybe the head of the household, is the father, and the mother is aware that this is what has happened, the mother will not even dare to report that case because they are afraid that that man is the provider of that home. And so it becomes very difficult to deal with the root. But I think if we go back and begin to preach the message of love, then you begin to look at each other as valuable people, and so we'll find that there'll be need for us to just protect one another. Thank you so much, Hemis. But one important question that I have for you this evening, even as I go to Exilda, I just want to find out what role can men play in making sure that they end violence against women, number one. Number two, protect girls and women against violence, because number one is end, all right? Second is, how can these men be able to protect girls and women against violence, and also help the abused women speak out? To a larger extent, the reason why you mentioned that you could go to the police or the courts and find, you've heard a report that there's been 3,000 cases reported, but in essence, when you go to the courts, you will not find 3,000 cases. So then what role can men play in ensuring that they completely eliminate gender-based violence or violence against women in this regard?
I mean, number one, they should just be fathers. Yeah, you know the saying that anyone can be a dad, not everyone can be a father, because a father figure is one who cares. You don't just give women children and then you leave. That's why the famous saying on social media is baby dad, isn't it? That we want men to be fathers. Yeah? Love women, yeah, provide the leadership that comes with a father. I don't think there's any father who wants to see their daughter abused. I don't think there's any father who wants to see another child's daughter beaten up. So men should be fathers. Men should take their role of leadership. That's number one. Young guys, youths should be brothers. That's how we can do it. I don't think, you know how jealous we are even just seeing our sisters going out with a guy, because we care so much, and that's what we want. Young men should become brothers to their sisters.
They should learn to love their sisters. They should be jealousy about their sisters. They should handle their sisters as weaker vessels. Weaker vessels in a sense that if I don't protect her, no one will. So you want to protect your sister. And in this sister, I don't mean my blood sister. I mean any young lady around you becomes your sister. We need to cultivate back our society and say we respect women in this way. Those are the key fundamentals that we need. But men in leadership should use their privileged position to empower women, right? Give women opportunities. We have a lot of intelligent women. So when you have an opportunity to have power, make sure you do it. Women should support women. Men are privileged now, and we all know that, and no one can argue with it. So we ask men that in their privileged positions, can they empower women so that we catch up? Can they send their daughters to good schools, good education, allow them to express themselves? Then we will be ending violence. Beyond that, because we are always human, we need to be checked. In case people decide not to be fathers, not to be brothers, not to use their privileged positions and opportunities, we need strong legislation to force men or compel men to have respect for women. Because a lot of people argue that no, it's not about laws. But yeah, we have extremes, and the only way we are going to deal with extremes, and we should look at this issue in a multifaceted form. Where we can't agree with mindset change, we will use law. Where we will agree, we will use, discussions and discourse like we are doing. So we need men to start cultivating that, and it should be deliberate from them. They need to be deliberate and begin to love and show care to women. So I feel that's the only way we're going to end this. And the media plays a key role in doing what we call advocacy journalism, right? Don't just report how many women have been beaten. Report how many have been beaten, what is the alternative to what has happened, where should these women go, what should happen to these women, demand governance. When you're talking about human rights, one fundamental pillar of human rights is survival and development, which is a critical component, and states, governments are duty bearers. So it's their mandate to protect women. So when you are reporting as media, ensure that you call on government to stick to what they've said they will do. Provide survival and development. Protection rights, we call them, if you are going to list them on the 3 Ps. So those are things that we need to do. Let's love each other, number 1. Let's show leadership, number 2. And let's have laws that promote and protect women.
All right. Thank you so much, Hemis, for your time. Thank you. It was great to have you and just to hear from a man's point of view what can be done, and particularly what role men can play in eliminating violence against women. I really, really appreciate, and it has been so insightful. But now I'm going to bring on Exilda. Exilda is a survivor of gender-based violence. She's based in Solwezi, and she's going to just tell us a little bit more about herself and some of the things that she's had to endure and how she was able to overcome the abuse that she went through. Exilda. Okay, while we wait for Exilda, Bianca, I would just like for you to just add on a little bit. I know that Hemis has highlighted, all right, I think Matilda is here. Hello, Matilda, Exilda, sorry. How are you, Exilda? I'm okay, madam. How are you? I'm well, thank you. Could you please tell us a little bit more about yourself and just briefly run us through what you went through, the abuse that you experienced? Yes, I was married to my husband for 10 years and with 3 children. He used to beat me, to fight with me always. So even hit me. That's when I went for I went to police to report. Then they take me and they trained me how I find out myself I can do something better for my own household matter. All right, Exilda. So I know that your husband was beating you, but for how long was your husband beating you for, and when did you say enough is enough? It was 9 years. After there, that's when I said no, too much. Because I was just came home doing nothing. Yes, I was just a housewife. So after I was trained that I'm a woman, I can do. That's how I started even doing that. Okay, all right. So your husband was it just physical abuse? Was it mental abuse? What was it that he was really doing to you, your husband, your ex-husband? Yes, because I was just home doing nothing. So my husband was going to another man, to another women and leave me. So once I'll say anything, then he will start beating me. All right. So your husband was cheating on you, and when you asked him, he would beat you. So from your own experience, Exilda, why do you think a lot of women who are abused are not able to come out? A lot of women who are abused decide just to stay in that home where they're being abused without even going up there to report. What would be what do you think is the reason why these women cannot leave even when their husband is beating them? The way I think of myself is this: the lack of knowledge. What I can say in the like us who have experience in that, if you see that to other women, we have to tell them how they should do. We have to tell them to give them the example. Yes, because even the time I was in marriage, I was not thinking of that. I was even thinking and say, me, I'm just the only, I can't go anywhere. I can't do anything because I'm married to this man, and I'm not educated. I don't do anything. So you fail even to get out from the man because of all those circumstances. Even if he would beat you, even if he can even kill you while you are intoxicated, because you have children with you, you are not thinking of going beyond, just seated. Even if you beat you tomorrow, you sit. Tomorrow, even if it goes, you just wait for him. So all those people, at least us who have experience on that, it's good if we can go to those people who are passing the same condition which I was passing and just start teaching them. Yes, ma'am. Right, that is great, Exilda. And I know that you have moved past that experience. You are now empowered. You are now equipped. You have been trained. Can you tell us a little bit more about what you are doing right now? Yeah, right now, as I was trained, I chose to do something. Something was this, because I didn't finish my education, so I was thinking, I can do what a man can do. So I just started doing metal fabrication. So I'm a welder right now. I'm even able to go and mine I do mining work. I work something. At the end of the month, they give me something. At least I'm even keeping my children, taking my children to school on that small thing which they are giving me the minor. Oh, right. That is such a wonderful testimony, I must say, Exilda, because now you are no longer a victim. You have moved from being a victim to being a victor. And I think you deserve a hand. You deserve a round of applause. Thank you so much for sharing. And I know that you're doing a great work in sensitizing other women on the need to be empowered, because I know that is one major reason why a lot of these women cannot move out of toxic relationships. Even we've heard so many reports where a man set ablaze his wife and later on took poisonous substance, because obviously if it gets to a point where a man can set you ablaze, then it means that there's been so much going on already, and now because there's nowhere else you can go, I totally understand. A lot of these women are afraid to just step out of these relationships because they know that their children, if they move out, who's going to take care of their children? How will they survive? And also there's so many things around, such as stigma. A lot of us in our culture, our society considers a woman, a married woman, as dignified. And so if you move out of the marriage, then it means your dignity is being stripped off. And so for so many women, that is the one thing that they are afraid of. Thank you so much, Exilda. Thank you so much for sharing your time and your experiences. And so I'm just going to have to ask Bianca under 2 minutes to just run us through what can be done for women, what can be done for these women in terms of empowering them, because we know that once a woman is empowered, they're able to move forward and able to stand on their 2 feet. But what is it that can be done to help these women to move past being victims of gender-based violence to being victors? Bianca.
Okay, one, I feel these women need to be supported. They need to feel supported. For instance, when they go to report, they need to know that they'll be supported, they'll be backed up. Like even the law will be able to support them. So first, the ones in the working places should be able to know that I won't be able to lose my job when I report the harassment and abuse in a workplace, one. And then two, also, the ones in relationship, in abusive relationships and marriages should be empowered, should be supported, should be spoken to, so that they understand that when they get out of this marriage, they'll be able to survive. Because another reason I strongly feel they don't report or want to get out of these abusive relationships is because of fear of the unknown, fear of how am I going to survive if I get out of this marriage? Probably the husband is the only one working and the only one providing. So they have this fear, like Exilda said, she was so scared of leaving because she did not have an income, you know. So some of these that have not gone to school should be able to be introduced to ways and means where they can be able to start businesses and be able to stand on their own, be able to support their children, be it that if the man won't be there to support after they leave these relationships. Also, we should look at the cause of these men. What are they abusing these women in marriages? One, it comes from the background, how they grew up. So this thing has been there. It comes from, they've seen, probably a man has been seeing his mother being abused. Okay, and he grows up and thinks it's normal. So also there's need for men to be cancelled. You know, when we see, as women also, when we see these signs, we should be able to report and help men seek counseling so that they know how to handle their emotions and also their stress, you know, because some of them is stress. They tend to take their stress on women, end up beating women, you know. Yeah.
Right. So I like what you said. Men need to be trained to be able to sort of harness their stress, because sometimes, especially in the wake of the COVID-19, people were confined in one place. Husband, wife, children, And so some of the things that, because of the stress and all these things that were happening, you find that even from the time of the COVID-19, as much as it was a pandemic, we've also seen a rise in the cases of gender-based violence. Bianca, thank you so much for that. And I just want to highlight that the need to raise our awareness can never be overemphasized. So each and every one of us, we are mandated to just speak out on these ills and be able to raise awareness. We cannot wait for the government, we cannot wait for the next organization, but we are the change that, we should be the change that we want to see. And so because we're running out of time, I just want to allow Mulia to speak, just whatever it is that you may have, Mulia, to share on this platform under 2 minutes before we wind up, Mulia.
Okay, good evening, Rachel. Good evening, everyone. So, yeah, just like everyone said, Dennis, Bianca, and everyone, you know, gender-based violence is something that we've had to deal with. Me personally, from an early childhood, I have been raised in a home that was broken because of, you know, gender-based violence. My father was abusing my mother because when he abused alcohol, he used to abuse her as well, you know. So their marriage had to end when we were 6, and that was because of violence. He used to drink and beat her up every time, and because by then we were just three sisters, you know, she had enough. She said, no, yes, I've not gone to school, I don't know what I'm going to do, but enough is enough. She left that marriage, and you know what happened? Immediately she left that marriage, she started business. She started doing something on her own, and she ended up being so successful.
Mulia, are you there?
I think we've lost her. We're having network challenges.
Okay, all right. I believe Mulia's mother's story is also another success story of one of the very few women that would actually gather courage to be able to step out of such toxic situations. And I just want to say thank you very much to each and every one of you for taking your time out to join and have this very important discussion, because we have seen in time, especially in the recent past, there has been a rise in gender-based violence to a point where women were actually abused to a point of death. I just want to just say thank you so much, Hemis. Thank you, Exilda. Thank you, Bianca. Thank you, Mulia. I really, really appreciate. This has been Rachel Mumba, your moderator. We were talking about, we are in the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence, and our topic of discussion was from victim to victor. And I know that we're going to be making a lot of successes. Thank you so much. Have a lovely evening.
Wow, wow, wow. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Zambia. Thank you for allowing us to share that space, the sacred space. Thank you for the women that were courageous to speak and share their stories. Thank you for that input. And thank you, Hemis, for being the voice that we as women collectively are yearning to hear, and we can only be hopeful that this is just the beginning of many more Hemises to step up in support, and where they also say no to gender-based violence, where they say and amplify their voices as our brothers, as men, And the voices don't just end there, but to change the narrative, to change the messaging. Thank you, Zambia. Thank you, my Zambian sisters. Thank you, Women in Bloom Zambia. We appreciate you for amplifying your voices. For together, we can make a change and be part of the change that we want to see in the world. So I'll give it back to Blair, and you will then give it back to Bianca. Is that correct? So
Yes, we're gonna just ask you if you have any questions. I have a couple of takeaways and questions that I would like to ask. I know at one point in the interview, Hermes was talking about education playing a role. And we had had a little bit of challenges there, so it was kind of cut off. My question to you, Rachel, is how does education in Zambia, we're talking from the perspective now of Zambia, how will that play a role in, we have the word rewiring, and I love it, the men's role in gender-based violence?
All right. So from the time that we were in school, I just didn't even understand why. But then now that I've grown up, I've understood the reason why. When we write our national exams from primary level, secondary, junior secondary level, all the way up to the last 12th grade, which is our last grade, men's, or rather boys' cutoff point, for example, if say out of 100% of the exam, the boys have to get to 60% and above for them to be considered as a pass rate. And then for the girls, it'll be say 40%. And then because of that, boys felt a sense of superiority over the girls, because they were at the back of their minds, they thought they were much more intelligent than the girls. And so they required to work extra hard for them to be admitted to either secondary school or the next level of their education. And so for the women, they felt they didn't really have to do much, because at the end of the day, society considered boys to be much more intelligent than they were. But as time has gone, they said, because girl children are like second moms. In Africa, after school, you're the one that goes to fetch the water, you're the one that has to do the cooking, you're the one that has to take care of your siblings. And so you have very little time to study. And so the government and other organizations understood that it's going to be very challenging for the girl child to undertake all these other roles and then also be able to study and attain those high marks. Because for boys just go home, play football, eat food, and then, so they were expected to perform higher than the girl child. And so there's been a misconception with regards that girl children are down. So you find that in one classroom, and also it's a mindset thing, really. So you find that in one classroom, out of maybe 50 pupils or 50 students, 30 are boys, and they'll do extremely well in maths and sciences, and the rest of the women, because it's been embedded in their mind that these subjects are for the boys, and so you can't. And so because boys feel, macho, if I were to use that word, and think they're doing extremely well than the ladies, but in actual sense, it's because of the many responsibilities that the girls have to undertake. Yeah.
Okay. Is there a move to kind of make the change, to pivot to where women or girls are now going to be kind of made equal to boys? Is there a pivot to change the education system there in Zambia?
It's been a work in progress, and I must say in the last couple of years, girls have done extremely well. For the first time, we are seeing women graduate top of class in engineering courses, in medicine, in courses or subjects or fields that were perceived to be main or to be dominated by the man. So it's a work in progress, and it has come as a result of so much advocacy. Like the lady on the panel, ex-builder. She does metal fabrication. Metal fabrication is welding. That is something very rare. You won't find girls do that. But then girls are now beginning to, they're breaking, limits and being able to do what men can do. It's a work in progress, but I know with time we'll be able to achieve some success.
So when we talk about and we move from education to the workplace, Bianca, maybe you can talk a little bit about this because of the role you play in being an entrepreneur, etc. Do you see that inequality there as well? How is it being addressed? Because you did actually mention that in the recording. What is the role that the workplace will have to play in eradicating this gender-based violence, or at least addressing it to some degree?
I believe there should be balance in the workplace. Like women should be able to hold positions that these men are holding. So like it's rare that you go to a company and you find that the director is a woman. Most of directors, CEOs are men. Yeah. So I think it's something that, and also in when they are being raised to, when women in workplaces, when they're when a position, they want to raise a position of one to another position, usually the ones that benefit are men. Women are looked at as wow, they can't manage this, they are busy with issues at home, it should be a man who's supposed to manage this. So I believe people should be able to know that even women can work, even women can do certain things if that these men are able to do, despite of what despite of the many responsibilities that women carry. Because if a woman can carry a child for 9 months and be able to do all sorts of things, she can be able to even push a company to a higher level. Yeah. So I think there should be awareness also, even, and one thing that I've discovered is that in workplaces, most women don't know what harassment is. Yeah, you will find that there are a boss who pat a woman on the butt, say this is a nice dress, this is what, and she will just forget about it, fear that when I report, I'll lose my job. It's not right. There should be awareness also. We should be able to teach these women, raise awareness in workplaces so that women should be able to know that this is not right. Someone can't come and tell me, oh, that dress. No. Yeah.
And I know at one point you had mentioned that that there is a movement right now in Zambia where women are being protected at work, and those who report harassment, they won't have a backlash. Tell me a little bit about that.
Okay, it's something that ILO and ZCTU are working on. It's not there yet. It's called the Convention 190. Yeah, this is what they're trying to work on, something that will be able to help women if they report. That if they report, they'll be able to know that they'll be supported. Yeah, that the law will back them up. Yeah, it's not there yet. We are fighting. This is what ILO Zambia and ZCTU are working on right now. Yes.
That's great. So what it's telling me is that it's going to take a concerted effort. I could break it down and say buzzwords that came out at me: culture. These are things or issues or people that play a role in gender-based violence. So if they play the role in the adverse, then they are going to be responsible for answering the need to make changes. So we have culture, that's an issue. We have the families that we talked about. Even in the families, they're wired to think boys are better than girls or superior to girls. So they start there. We have education. We have society on a whole that's responsible for where we are now. We're not placing blame. We're just saying that this is the way it is. But now we want to make a change. So we want to change. We can't change culture, but we want to take the culture and say, you know what? We're going to have to rewire ourselves to think differently. We have to tap into the educational system. We have to tap into the governments. And we, I believe Hermes had kind of touched on that and said, when you are endowed with power, you need now to take that power and not abuse it to abuse women, but take the power to empower. So if you're given power, you need to use that to empower. So I learned a lot of takeaways from your discussions, both live and taped. Thank you so much, Women in Bloom, Zambia. Bianca, thank you. Rachel, thank you. Malia, thank you. And those who had to pop off, but now you're on Facebook Live, thank you so much. Kim, all of you, Lou, Thandi, Denicia, Ashaka, Charmin, and Maria, thank you so much. I believe that this discussion was really, really helpful for me, not just to understand gender-based violence on a whole, but to understand it in different parts of the world. I believe once we start to understand each other in our differences, we will come together as a unit, become one voice, one cause, and produce an answer. So Maria, back to you, and then Charmin.
You know, when I'm smiling, you know, I'm just like, you just blew me away. And of course, it makes me wear that badge of pride and honor as I honor my Zambian sisters and brother, and I salute you. I salute you for a great job, because amplifying those voices personally, for me, for you, for the generations to come, it is something that we will continue to do. We will no longer be silenced. We are here to change the narrative. I want to mention what Thandi said in the notes there, then I'll get into the order. She said, thank you, Women in Bloom Zambia. You unpacked a lot. You unpacked the gaps and misconceptions embedded in the education system within your context. This is why the context is key when we engage with issues at hand, taking a holistic approach so voices in every context, in every society at a global scale can participate and be heard. Balance comes from balanced conversations. Wow. I want you to know that, as Hermes mentioned, that yes, culture plays a role. Later, you reiterated, my sister Blair, and just to prep you that on Tuesday, we are going to look at gender-based violence from a cultural perspective. We will look at it from the north, from the east, west, and southern parts of Africa and other countries at large. So it is that call. We appreciate the thoughts, the ideas delving around that subject, and we hope to engage more on that subject as we amplify our voices and also turn to change the misconceptions, the myths, the excuses that have been centered around our culture and traditions and so on and so forth. So we thank you for amplifying those voices. So as we take you, we just wanted to bring you to speed so that how we got here to day 11 and what to expect for tomorrow. Day 1, we were reminded to rise up. And I'll put it in the collective. We were reminded that we should rise. Day 2 saw us move to the girls' voices, where they say, do not leave us out of these conversations. We want our voices to be heard. And we were woke on day 2. Day 3 took us to Your Voices Matter. We were reminded by Kingdom Network and Empowerment that our voices matter, that we ought to amplify our voices collectively. On day 4, we were reminded by Canada Virtuous Women, where they took us on a journey to humanize the cloth, that yes, you may weep at night, but joy comes in the morning, and you are able to overcome the storms. And you, as a woman, are still authentically made, and you deserve more. So do not be afraid. Find your voice, love yourself. Day 5, because it was in day 4 that we were called to challenge that we need the men to be in these conversations. Little did they know we had already prepped them for day 5 of the 5th course meal, 16th course meal, as Charmaine loves to put it. We had the candid conversations where we were taken on a journey by the men, and they told us how they did it. What was really empowering takeaway on that day, it was so special because so much was taken away, but we heard the message, it can be fixed. But more so, that was dear to us and never forgotten, was the apology to the women, where the men stood in the gap with Travis taking the lead, and where collectively they spoke and expressed the apology to the women. Not only the women in the room, but women universally. Day 6, because we were told it could be fixed, we went on to day 6, where messages of hope. The theme on that day was the audacity of hope beyond hope. Because we wondered if our hope had been deferred since we've been chanting and marching for over half a century, and our voices seemed almost in vain. But we remained hopeful. And then day 7, we were taken by Women in Bloom, Canada, where they brought us back to a journey shared through storytelling and experiences, Victim to Victor, Part 1. As if that was enough, not enough. We had stories of courage, one that preempted to the next session, which led us to the resilience. It started off with Coffee Virtual Hour, where women told us what it meant to be resilient. And we delved into the session, Resilience Back on My Feet. Oh, couldn't say that. Back on my feet again. Eagles soar. Empowered. You know, Charmaine likes this because I don't want to take it away. She hates it when I put her on the spot. But wow, it was seeing the eagles just so like their name, and just the resilience at its best. Day 9 took us to family life and beyond, where we were once again reminded no longer to defer our dreams, because girls, through their resilience, courage, and trust and faith, could become the best that they are supposed to be. The next day, we were taken to a self-discovery journey, which was our day 10, Self-Discovery Ignite, where we met and our Guyanese sisters, and boy, that session was surely fired up. Today, we were once again reminded from the lenses of the continent Africa, from Zambia, where we shared the experiences of victim to victors. One word that really stuck with me, is when you said, when the women report these issues, believe them. Believe them. Do not patronize them. Do not interrogate them, but believe them. That sunk. Then tomorrow is the a la carte. is the global mosaic. Because tomorrow when we meet and encounter World Pulse, the heartbeat, we are encountering 15 women from 15 different countries. This is why I just loosely called it the global mosaic. Because we will hear how they too did it, how they became victors, how they survived, how they are no longer victims, and how they are connected locally, yet continue. They're working locally and continue to be connected globally, and how they will in turn amplify their voices, their experiences. So that's tomorrow, our 12th course of the 16th course meal. You do not want to miss it. So I'll hand it over to Charmaine to add on, subtract, and take it away.
What is there to add? We're seeing a common theme throughout, despite which part of the globe we present from. And the common theme is the importance of our primary socialization. And I think Hermes hit on it today. If we can change the way we socialize our boys and our girls, I don't think we would have a platform for gender-based violence, because we may have the perfect utopia. However, we want to focus on that because it's a common theme for the last maybe 10 days. Women of Zambia, thank you. Thank you for your courage, for breaking cultural norms, because you just defied the African cultural myth that is within the world. And we think that African women, just like Guyanese women, does not air their dirty laundry in public. Thank you for bursting that myth, for demystifying the myth that you guys don't have voices. You just prove to us that you have voices, and just not voices. You have powerful voices. And as we amplify our voices as women around the globe, we will change GBV and enjoy a utopia. But it takes courage, and the courage that it takes, we all have it. So let's soar. Do not miss. Let me repeat that again. Do not miss the remainder of the meal. You've already missed 10 courses. We have 4 courses left. You have to be there. But not because you weren't present for the last 10 courses doesn't mean you can't partake. The videos are available, so ensure you get the meal so that at day 16, we are ready for the next step. Okay, my sisters, thank you, and see you tomorrow.